Andre, what will you be doing in 5 years? And the answer would be, I am not sure. I think that what I try to do in life is to simplify. I try to simplify and have more fun. I think these are two things. I don't look for money so much. I don't think I've ever looked for money. So these are two things. Simplify my life, which probably means doing less things, working less, being more effective, choosing the things that I want to work on. And I think having more fun is maybe continue working in advertising and continue working definitely in the creative environment, but being able to choose only the projects that I find fantastic and exciting. Maybe doing other things. There's a lot of things that I want to learn separate from advertising. So I like to be creative. I think I will continue in this, but simplify my life and more fun, hopefully. A lot of people trace their future and say, I'm going to work here, learn as much as I can, then I'm going to do my own thing. I never wanted that because I had the impression that as long as I was working with someone else better than me, I was learning, and that would be the best. The minute you build your agency, if you're not very careful, you stop learning, you start teaching more. And I never wanted to do that. I always wanted to learn. But then after I left Japan, I wanted to go back to Brazil anyway. And then I looked at the options that I had there. And none of the agencies were really exciting to me. I thought, fuck, Brazil is so behind what I was doing in Japan and in Sweden and stuff. I was very much at the top of the digital game in the world. And if I wanted to stay in Brazil, I said, I think I have to start something. So it was almost out of need because I wanted to have fun and do great things. And I couldn't see any option to get into an agency because nobody was really exciting. So I said I might start my own thing and see where it goes. So this is what I did. It's all fake work. Okay, that's horrible. But Brazil, okay, so the big advertising festivals, they receive a fair share of work that's not really done for clients. Or it might be done for clients, but it's something that they just air once. And so there's a way to create things that they're still legally able to be entered into the competition, but in fact, it's done just for the competition, right? So Brazilians are very smart with that. So they build a lot of things that are exclusively for festivals so they can win awards. So it's the culture of Brazil to build stuff to win awards. I don't think that in general, Brazilians are that much more creative than anyone else, but because they do that, they get known as becoming very creative. There's something to be said though. Brazilians are very resourceful because they don't have amazing, insane budgets. They sometimes have to become very creative to solve some problems. So sometimes they do it really well. One aspect of Brazil in creativity, and it's the same with China, Brazil, Russia, the emerging markets, they have something very unique. There is a big chunk of the population that 10 years ago was poor. They couldn't consume, they didn't go to school. And now, very quickly, they became middle class and they consume and they're buying things, but they're not very refined in what they understand of the story, what we ask them to do. So that's why the advertising needs to be very obvious and kind of boring in a way, because you're trying to sell to a gigantic population of, in Brazil, 200 million people, and a lot of them are not very sophisticated. So that's why you have to be creative in a way to sell it to them, but it's not something that advertising festivals love. So that's why you create things just for advertising festivals. It seems very obvious, but I think you have to look into what the competition is doing. You have to wake up in the morning and read the advertising blogs, and you have to learn about new artists. You have to learn about new technologies. I wish I would do more of that, and I think that if you do that enough and if you do it frequently, every day you say, I'm going to spend 30 minutes looking into what's new. That's one of the great ways to do it. I'm not going to give you the answer. I think that's very generic, which is, oh, I go outside and I watch a movie and I travel. Yes, those things inspire everyone, but in our job, we have to be aware of the new technologies. We have to be aware of how people communicate brands. We have to be aware of what people think. So you have to read the industry media and you have to be aware of that. And that's one of the things that inspires me, great work from someone else. And I go, damn, I wish I had done that. And then you start to, it generates other ideas. I think looking at ideas is one of the great ways of coming up with ideas. I don't know enough about them, actually. I can tell you, who have I met? I think I've met Goodby, I think, in one of those festivals. I was one of the judges. I think they're genius. I think they've built amazing brands. It's difficult sometimes for a creative to build an amazing business. Sometimes that's better for business people. But so there was a generation of very amazing creative people, even in Brazil, creative directors who built gigantic businesses. It's so difficult. When I tried to build my business, I understood how difficult it is to be the creative and try to build it and grow it and continue having super high quality of creative work. Super hard. Who is the best? These days, I like Wyden and Kennedy much more. I think they have consistently delivered better things. I'm more in awe of the campaigns they do. They are larger, which is very difficult to build a very large business and be across the world. I'm also in awe of the business, the entrepreneurship of Wyden and Kennedy. I think it's managed to construct an amazing brand that people want to work for. They're great. They're great. All of the ones that I showed to you guys, I'm jealous of. I'm like, oh, best job in the world. What a great bloody idea. So simple to execute. I mean, not to belittle how complex it was to build it and to actually make it work, in fact. So I'm going to rephrase this, but what a simple idea that doesn't need so much to be as amazing as it was. More recently, I think the LG is a great idea. I'm kind of a fan of it. I think it has all the elements that makes the story be very broad, because it takes people by surprise. It's unbelievable. So it has all the right ingredients. That's why it was so successful. I'm very in awe of spending very little money, doing it very quickly, and achieving amazing results. So most everything you see at the Cannes Festival that wins, I'm like, oh, damn it, I'm very jealous of it. I'm going to try to name you one just for the sake of it. I'm going to say I am jealous of 100 years of Oreo or 100 days of Oreos. I don't know what it's called exactly, but essentially it is Oreo cookies was looking on social media every day. It would look at something interesting that happened in the world and stuff and would create one JPEG with the Oreo cookie visual itself celebrating that. How brilliant. It generated so much engagement in social media. So easy to execute. It needed, from the agency side, a whole new model of working. It's no longer present the campaign, strategy, campaign, create everything, push a button, push it out. It's more like create the idea. Every day you have to execute something new, have to be attent. Copywriters stand by, waiting for the thing. Client needs to sign it off every day. It's a new system. Rethinking a system for agencies to work with clients in a different way is also very interesting. So I like that because of that. I think that the division between on and offline is, it's a construct from agencies because of the way they do work and where they buy media. So it's been very separated. But that's not how people live their lives. You ask a kid, like, or not even a kid, but someone who's 18 years old. You say, are you now online? Is this your real life? Are you digital? So those things become more and more common usage for us. So we don't distinguish anymore. So it's difficult to still imagine agencies that are set up to distinguish those things. What I think will happen in the future is that agencies will not have that distinction at all. You already see that happening a lot. But more and more, the ideas will always have to have a digital component to them. Not because they're digital, but more because if you are a brand that wants to touch people and have a relationship and communicate and have a dialogue, one of the most effective ways is to do it through digital channels. So your campaigns and everything else will necessarily need to have digital. And if they don't have, it's not going to be as successful as. It's kind of interesting because I think what's going to happen is that everything that now is extremely expensive, like an iPad that we see here and stuff like that, and we take it home and it's a lot of money. Very, very soon for our kids' generation, whenever they grow up, when they're 18, it's going to be everywhere. So if you think in general, the role of old medias in a world that's going into developing better and better medias, I was asked that question a while ago. What's the role of print when it seems like everything else is going to become electronic? I think it's the same question when you think, what's the role of cinema when you have VHS that you can rent the film and now you can download? I think we'll still see these things becoming very valuable. So think with me, in cinema, if you wanted to watch a film, the only solution was to go to the cinema. Now it becomes something very unique and important. It's almost like a celebration. If you just want to watch film, you watch it from home on your computer. If you want to make an event out of it, so it has so much importance. Similar things to print and everything else. Now you don't need to touch print to see the news of the day. You go online, or very soon it might even disappear. So when you receive a letter in the mail, when somebody writes you a real letter, or when you print something and take it home, it has much more significance than it had for our parents. It's something very unique. It's almost like a present. So yeah, I don't think that it does anything to the young generations. I think kids that have never seen this thing, it's the same thing for us. We haven't gone to the theater very much like our parents did, and I don't think it does anything. What I would say to a creative director. I don't know 5 words, but I'll tell you a few things. Maybe let's try. Okay, I'm going to try to do with words. Become a generalist. Oh, I already spent 3 words. Generalist, manager. You have to manage people. You do a lot of that. Strategist, become a good strategist, because that's how you're going to get the tools to sell your product, and your whole team is going to be relying on you to sell it. Work hard. You're going to have to work so much more than being an art director or an ACD. 5th thing, I would say damn you for being a creative director. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.